You're listening to Inside Blitz with Levon Kirkland.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Inside Blitz with Levon Kirkland, presented by the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame. I am one of your co-hosts, David Wyatt. Excited to be here with you, and joined in studio with me is co-host Mikey Football, and of course we have Levon Kirkland. Starting with you, Mike. Mike handles our director of community programs. He's also head of scouting for the Blanchard Rogers Award, and is an amazing football machine in terms of scouting and understanding stats and statisticians. That's why we call him affectionately around here
Mikey Football.
Mikey Football. Hey, so our first guest that we're about to get on the line, very excited about, Michael Dean Perry, awesome guy in our Football Hall of Fame. Throwing it to you, Mikey Football. Tell us a little bit about Michael Dean.
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure to be doing this project with Levon Kirkland.
Awesome.
And it's a pleasure to have Michael Dean Perry with us. He's a class of 2016 inductee of the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame, and one of the most underrated players that we've probably ever seen. He was an AFC Defensive Player of the Year in 1989 with the Cleveland Browns, only his second year in the league. He's a six-time Pro Bowler, four-time All-Pro. He used to lead Clemson in sacks. He's now number 2 to Vic Beasley. So to be able to talk with Michael Dean and see the interaction with Levon and Michael Dean, they were teammates for 1 year at Clemson, is pretty special. And so I'm looking forward to this interview coming up.
Me too, man. It's going to be exciting. And Levon Kirkland, I mean, hey, let me turn it over to you without further ado.
Oh, well, thank you so much, David. I really appreciate it. I am so excited to be a part of the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame as the Vice President of Development. But mostly, more than that, I am really excited about doing this podcast and the guest, our very first guest that we're having, Michael Dean Perry. Tremendous football player. As Mike said before, very underrated as a football player. And before we welcome Michael on, I have a really quick story. When I was a freshman, I got redshirted in 1987. Michael Dean Perry was basically the man. Everybody respected him on the team. Tremendous player. And one day during preseason practice, we were going first string offense and defense going against each other. First play of the game, Michael Dean makes a play behind the line of scrimmage. Second play of the game, Michael Dean makes a play behind the line of scrimmage. Third play of the game, Michael Dean makes a play behind the line of scrimmage. Coach Ford gets so upset and so irate that he's like, Michael Dean, get out of here. He kicked the man out of practice for having a great practice. And from that point on, my whole goal was to get kicked out of practice by Coach Ford. So, I mean, that's just one of the tremendous stories about Michael Dean Perry. We're going to get into more.
This is Michael Dean Perry, and you're listening to Levon Kirkland on the Inside Blitz.
And right now, we want to welcome Michael Dean Perry. Michael Dean.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
One of the things, Mike, I wanted to ask you about, I've always been curious about this. In 1987, Coach Ford kicked you out of practice after about 3 plays. I want to know what you did after that, after you got kicked out of practice, while the rest of us had to practice. What did you do for the rest of the day?
Well, Levon, after when he kicked me out, I thought I was in trouble.
Right.
I'm like, okay, what's going on? So anyway, he said, get out here, go to the shower. So I went and took a shower. Of course, took my time. And then I came back and started watching the spring ball, watching you guys practice. So I was the ultimate teammate, even though I didn't have to be there.
Right.
Because I love my teammates. Came back, sat in the stands. I couldn't order a beer at that time, so
right.
I just had this cold iced tea.
So you actually thought you were in trouble?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he just.
But think about it, Levon. When Coach Ford yells 9 times out of 10, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble. You're right.
So when he yelled down at Michael Dean, I'm like, oh, what I do now? I'm offsides, what? I don't know. So he told me to get out of practice. I said, okay. I guess it's not too bad.
You know.
Yeah, I thought I was in trouble. And he just said it.
You know, that was my goal for my senior year, that I would get kicked out of practice like you got kicked out of practice. Unfortunately, Coach Ford didn't stay there, but that was one of my goals as a player, to get kicked out of practice like Michael Dean Perry got kicked out of practice.
And you know what's funny, Levon?
Mm-hmm.
My brother got kicked out of practice one spring.
Right.
One of my teammates who has passed, Kevin Brady.
Yeah.
So he came up to the line, right? And they were getting ready to run a play, and they stopped it. And then he came to the line and said, okay, it's on one. So he's down there with the cadence, and when Hawk came out of his mouth, William came across the center with a forearm and knocked him out.
Wow.
He kicked William out of practice.
So both of the Perry boys got kicked out of practice.
Yep.
That's amazing. I have never got kicked out of practice, and that is one of the things that I wish it would have happened, especially on a good note like you got kicked out of practice. Incredible story.
Now, wait a minute. Talk about practice. I'm going to have to tell you this story here.
Okay.
Now, this was another funny story. It happened with me when I was at Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a rookie, 1988, right?
Right.
So we started the season, and we were practicing. So, of course, I didn't start right away. Well, I started on 30 and long, second and long. So I was considered a pass rush specialist when I came in as a rookie. But I would still have to run scout team for the first team offense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Ernest Biner, Kevin Mack, of course, played at Clemson. Ernest Biner, ECU guy, East Carolina. So anyway, one day in practice, Ernest Biner came through the hole, and I give him a nice little shot. Bam!
Right.
Don't stumble. And Marty Schottenheimer stopped practice. He said, rookie. So yeah. So I'm gonna tell you this one time. The Browns don't play the Browns. Don't hit them again. Said, no problem, Marty. No problem.
Right.
Yeah, that was a I'll never forget that as well.
Right. There's always a difference as far as the collegiate level and the pro level. I realized that when I got into the NFL. What was one of the biggest difference that you saw coming in from the Clemson Tigers to the Cleveland Browns?
Well, the biggest difference, of course, everybody talks about, and that's the speed of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as offensive linemen, if you think about it, Levon, in our careers, and you can go year by year by year, if you're lucky, you might see one or two good offensive linemen.
Right.
Or you might see that tight end that you just have a hard time covering. And it's like that in pretty much every position.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got to the NFL, the quality of the offensive line was unbelievable because you didn't see that on a consistent basis. And so, week in and week out, and you have to adjust. And usually the guys who are pretty good on that next level, or if you're a high draft pick in college and look at the next level, most of the time you can adapt, adjust, and be very, very productive. But if you're that average guy, that's what a lot of fans don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
That the worst offensive lineman, the worst tailback, running back, wide receiver, you go down the list. Just think about this. You know how many guys try and fill those positions. Some, could probably not play, but 98% of them deserve to be there. So when you see a guy on TV, and offensive lineman get beat, and you see guys just railing on him, you got to be decided. Let me tell you something. You got to look at who that guy's playing against, and just how good these athletes are on the opposite side, whether you're an all-pro offensive lineman or all-pro defensive lineman. These guys are something special. A lot of people don't understand that. It's like Jerry Ball told the reporter one time when he was a kid. He said, let me tell you how tough it is inside. Just to give you an idea. He said, if I took you and just put you right in the middle over that center, and these guys start running all them different schemes, combination blocks, he said, you know what? You have to go change your pants. Well, you get killed.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty good there. And you know what? He was absolutely right. It happens so fast.
Yeah, no question about it.
So fast. When you play played inside LeBron, you know.
Yeah, I know a little bit.
I mean, yeah, it's a little bit, but think about it. As fast as it was to you, it was even faster for us because we only a foot and a half separating us.
Yeah.
I can recognize a down block, trap, influence, gut, tug. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Influence. You got, hey, within a half a second, you got to realize. Wait a minute. Okay, doing this. Oh, my check this. You know, so it's a fast-paced game, and it's tough. And so it's the speed. So to answer your question, speed. It kills.
Yeah, Michael Dean. We're at the Inside Blitz with Levon Kirkland. And speaking of making a difference, how did football make a difference in your life? Here at the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame, we talk about making a difference through football. How did football make a difference in your life?
You know what? When I sit and think about how did football impact my life, number one, it kept me out of trouble.
Right.
First and foremost, I had something to do, and I enjoyed doing it. But it taught me discipline. It taught me to count on other individuals and goals. It taught me goals because when you're playing that game, it's so many individuals that want your spot, whether it's in high school, college, or pro. So you got to have a plan. I'm always forward thinking, and even when I was at Clemson, I wanted to play right away. The coach Ford redshirt. And you know what? I had a plan. I had a 5-year plan of what I wanted to do. And when I got to the pros, I had a plan what I wanted to accomplish, what I wanted to do, provide for my family. And I think the single most thing that what football did for me is it impacted my life where that I could focus. And when you talk about playing at that high level, and that's one of the reasons why some of these guys who are so good in college that they're going to be great pro players, and then they fizz out. You go, man, what happened? I thought this guy was great. I thought this guy was going to be an all-pro, so forth and so on, but don't have a plan. Football makes you plan.
Mm-hmm.
For me. And that's what I did. Every spring, every fall, off season I didn't really care too much about like it is now.
Right.
But I always had a plan. What I want to do while I was in football, what I want to do when I retired from football. So it made me plan and focus.
Oh man, that's a tremendous testimony, Mike. We really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to ask you a really serious question. Back in the day, your heyday at Cleveland, McDonald's had a burger named after you. Now, you know how big that is to have a burger named after you. It was the MDP. Now, can you tell the audience what that consists of? That burger?
Well, in short, I'll tell you this.
Okay.
Heart attack on a bun. That's what it consists of.
So it had bacon in it, right?
A lot of carbs. But no, the MDP was a triple cheeseburger with bacon and all the other condiments. But yeah, I went to an appearance in Tower City. It was a mall in Cleveland.
Right.
And I was doing an autograph session, and these two chefs made an MDP burger. It was about 4 feet in diameter, and they brought it out on this what do you call those trays they roll out? Like a you know how you prepare food, but you have so much, and they just wheel it out.
Right.
Anyway, like a little tray or whatever.
Okay.
And man, that was the biggest hamburger I've ever seen.
Wow.
That should have been the Guinness Book of World Records.
It probably should have been.
It was a huge burger.
Right. Well, that's tremendous. I mean, I think everybody.
But also to answer your question, though, I mean, I really didn't know how big that was. I just thought it was something that, because seeing my brother with all these commercials and everything,
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, okay, yeah, well, that's nice.
Well,
I didn't look at it like, oh, yeah, I'm the man now because I got a burger name now. I was like, oh, yeah, you want to do that? How much you paying? So,
right.
That was it.
Right. Well, me and Michael was discussing, we were looking at your stats, and we really feel that, man, you were really underrated as an NFL player to be AFC defensive player 1 year, all the sacks that you had. You were quite underrated. How do you feel about your career and what you did and what you had to overcome as far as being underrated?
Yeah, well, you know what? You've been around me a long time, and I never really promoted myself.
Right.
At anything. So the accolades come. I appreciate it. I thank you, and I cherish it. And just like, even though I'm not in the Football Hall of Fame, guys I played against, guys I played with, they think that I was in the Hall of Fame already.
Michael, you should have been in the Hall of Fame already.
Yeah. Right.
This is ridiculous.
One of my good friends who passed, Cortez Kennedy, my nephew.
Oh yeah, Cortez, yes.
He said, hey, your Cortez. I said, man, yeah. So I called Cortez and I congratulated him. And then my nephew called back. He said, Uncle Mike, your stats are just like Cortez, but you got one more sack. I said, well, you know what? Hey, that's how the ball bounces sometimes.
No doubt about it.
You know, that was it.
But I'm telling you, Mike.
It all depends. Huh?
I tell you what, Mike, I mean, you're a tremendous player. I've watched you as a fan, and I was lucky to be one of your teammates. And here at the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame, we inducted you very early. We think you're very deserving, and, we really appreciate you coming on today. This has been outstanding. Thank you so much.
Well, Levon, thank you. You've always been a great teammate.
Thank you.
And don't ever sell yourself short. This guy here, you know what? He did some things that is not doesn't happen on a normal scale. I remember Levon. You came in the league probably what 225, 230.
Yeah, around that, Mike. Yeah, we'll take that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's take that.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think was that John Mitchell? I was it Hardy Nicholson? I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we were talking about players, and we talking about you at one time. Because I think it was Hardy. So I made a phone. He said, you know what? He said, what's amazing about LeVon is, he said, that guy went from 235 to 260, 265, and he didn't lose a step.
Right.
I said, you got to be kidding me. He said, no. He said, that guy at 235 was just as quick and powerful and agility, all that. He was still able to do what he did at 265. So let me tell you something, my friend. That's quite a feat.
Well,
Not many people can say that. Hey, if I gained that, I'd be on the bench eating more MVPs.
Michael Dean, you are just too kind.
You're a great player, too.
Thank you very much. Well, coming from you, man, that means a whole lot. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
LeVon.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time and energy, Mike. We really appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure. Anytime.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Inside Blitz with Levon Kirkland.
Welcome back to the Inside Blitz with Levon Kirkland, presented by the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame. I am your co-host, David Wyatt, alongside Mike Foster and Levon Kirkland in the studio, and it's exciting to be on the podcast today. And at the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame, we're all about leadership. We're all about improving ourselves, leading others, encouraging others, especially the youth in our community. And Levon has developed this next segment. It's the Inside Look with Levon Kirkland, and he is going to share some of those insides with you, the listener, and us. So without further ado, let me kick it to you, Levon, the Inside Look with Levon Kirkland.
Well, thank you, David. I really do appreciate that. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the term trust your eyes. It wasn't really a popular term when I came up as a kid, but I did get this information when we were playing in the Super Bowl back in the day, Super Bowl 30. Matt Millen, who's a 5-time Super Bowl champ, was a reporter at the time. And he reached out to me and he wanted me to understand that he thought that I was seeing all the right things, but I wasn't really quite trusting my eyes. Now, this was a aha moment for me when he told me, hey, Levon, just trust your eyes because you're seeing the right thing. Man, that was amazing to me. And so I took his advice that day and trust my eyes and had a tremendous game. Now, we didn't win that game, but I really learned a valuable lesson from that. And I think anybody else could learn a valuable lesson from that. And as a mentor to, I will hope to be millions and millions of kids, I want to let you know to trust your eyes, especially if you do the work, if you do the plan, and you prepare well, you can trust your eyes. And trusting your eyes is basically just having confidence in your ability to get things done. So my message to you is to trust your eyes and get it done. Thank you.
That's great message there for you guys. Obviously, you got to put in the work. Once you've worked, you prepare, you excel, you succeed. So trust your eyes. So great wisdom there, Levon. Thank you so much. And Mike, here at the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame, you guys do a lot. We do a lot. You are the heart and soul of much of that work. Tell the audience here how they can get involved and help with this, making a difference.
Absolutely. And there's a couple of ways in which you can do that. One is, become a member, and we'll talk about that here in a second. And the other thing is, at least go on our website, scfootballhof.org, and sign up for our newsletter so that way you'll get information about us. You can also follow us on social media, scfootballhof on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We also want to keep you guys involved. We want you to be involved in our processes, in our voting, in our nomination process. Right now we're looking at nominations for our class of 2020.
So y'all are nominating. Tell us what that looks like.
So we're going to put together a list of about 50 modern era inductees that have been born here in South Carolina, grew up here in South Carolina, or played at one of the in-state institutions.
So you're building a ballot.
Correct.
Over the summertime.
And we want you, the fans, to be involved in that process. And one way to do that is to become a member and to sign up for our email list and interact with us. One of the things that is really important to us is our community programs and what we can do in giving back. And one of the big programs that we're doing right now is our Bridge Builder program that is changing lives in our youth and community. And we're going into schools and we're talking to them about various life skills and issues that they need to help prepare them for their next step. And so one of the things that we're able to do with this podcast is be able to communicate with you and also have people like Levon interact with you as well. And Levon, I understand that you're a member. How did you do that?
Well, I just gave you my credit card and say, Mike, in order for me to get members to be a part of the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame, I first must become a member. So I think that anytime that you want something, you have to give that back first. If you want love, you have to give love, so that's why I thought that I should become a member right now. And I made that immediate decision to become a member. And so we're going to encourage others to do the same thing. And you're doing it for a great cause. I mean, we're going to be helping so many youth in our community, and that's going to help our state. That's going to help our people. It's going to help our parents. And I feel like it's the right thing to do. And when you feel compelled to do the right thing, you go ahead and make that action now. So I did an action, and hopefully now we get all that action returned to us as we get more people to be members.
Thanks, Levon. And you can do that really quick. It's $9.95 a month, less than $10 a month. You can help support our programs and grow those programs to reach more kids, more youth, and to help change the lives in this community. It's an easy less than $10 a month. All you have to do is go to scfootballhof.org/join. Go there, follow the directions, and you'll become a member of the Hall of Fame. We'll keep you updated on how you can continue to be impactful in this community and have an opportunity to be involved with the things that we do throughout the year.
That's awesome. That's awesome, guys. Well, I tell you what, the time goes so fast when we're having a good time, and I really appreciate, of course, Evan Tripp doing our production today, and we appreciate you listening to the Inside Blitz with Levon Kirkland. We are making a difference through football here in South Carolina. And at the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame, this is something that we can be proud of in South Carolina. Only the best of the best are in our Hall of Fame. Take a look at the website, scfootballhof.org. We are highlighting those things of South Carolina to be proud of. We are leading and we are making a difference through football. Thank you, and we'll see you next time on the Inside Blitz with Levon Kirkland.
You're listening to Inside Blitz with Levon Kirkland.